But first, Metro documents shedding light on the 1 October shooting. More than 1,000 pages of witness statements giving us a better idea of Stephen Paddock's attitude in the days leading up to the tragedy.
And also, one man's account shows that he was working to try and modify his weapons at least a month before the attack. And 13 Action News reporter Brian Callahan found out that man also said Paddock made a chilling statement.
That's right. He joins us live near the Las Vegas Strip with more tonight. Brian.
Yeah, a lot of attention was paid to the bump stocks used in the attack, but these documents released today show in a meeting in this parking lot, the gunman was looking for another way to modify his gun just weeks before the massacre. A man says he met Stephen Paddock in the parking lot of the Bass Pro Shops a month before the 1 October massacre. Paddock reportedly signaling his location by flashing his headlights. The witness, who described himself as an unemployed chef, telling detectives 6 days after the massacre that he was contacted through a Backpage ad where he was selling schematics for a device that makes semi-automatic rifles into automatics. But the man says Paddock was after the device, not the plans, offering him $500 for each device if he could build them. The man telling detectives he refused, telling Paddock he was, quote, too old to be spending the rest of my life in federal prison. The witness going on to detail anti-government comments Paddock made during the brief meeting, ending that conversation saying, quote, somebody has to wake up the American public. Brian Callahan, 13 Action News.
And we are also learning new information about the timeline of Mandalay Bay's response to the attack.
Well, a security dispatcher telling detectives they called AMR to get an ambulance for Jesus Campos before they reported the shooting to Metro. The employee telling detectives they initially thought that Campos was hit with a BB or perhaps a pellet gun.
And they said it was once security managers got to the 32nd floor and confirmed it was an active shooter, they called 911. Security logs and radio traffic were also a problem for investigators, with an employee tasked with downloading files saying the time codes on those records could be off by as much as 30 minutes.
Well, we have many more witness accounts and police reports from the 1 October shooting. Just visit our website at KTN.
Edited witness accounts reveal what the 1 October shooter may have been doing in the time leading up to that tragedy.
Metro Police releasing more than 1,000 pages that were never seen before. That is until right now.
Contact 13 investigative reporter Joe Bartels is part of our team reading every word of it. Joe.
Yeah, Todd and Tricia, I want you to take a look at all of the documents here. These are just some of them. A group of 10 of us here at 13 Action News have been poring over them for the past 5 hours, and there are some new details in these documents, including location of Marilou Danley, the suspect's girlfriend, just before the shooting, and a man who claims he had a conversation with the suspect just before the shooting.
A new glimpse into the seemingly normal behavior of Stephen Paddock just before the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history. A busser at Mandalay Bay said she served Paddock and his girlfriend Marilou Danley on Friday, 2 days before the shooting. Police were very interested in the couple's actions. The investigation revealing casino staff knew Paddock to be short-tempered, often screaming for no reason. The statements today also revealing some insights into Paddock's mental state. Particularly, Hurricane Katrina seemed front and center. A man interviewed by police told investigators Paddock would carry on about anti-government stuff that included FEMA camps and the 2005 disaster. That was just a dry run for law enforcement and military to start kicking down doors and confiscating guns, the man quoted Paddock as saying. Also in the documents, a British visitor claims he had a conversation with a man who he thought was Paddock the night before the shooting outside the Luxor. He says the person was talking strange, making biblical references and telling stories about how God would come down and save men down on their luck. Another man claims the day of the shooting he encountered a man who said to say a prayer for what's about to happen tonight and then asked how to get a ticket to the festival.
And so coming up at 6:30, we are still going through these documents, but we found the security guard Jesus Campos' written words about the shooting. You'll see that coming up at 6:30. Reporting live, Joe Bartels, 13.
Right now, live at 6:30, in his own words tonight, we hear from Mandalay Bay security guard Jesus Campos as Metro releases nearly 1,500 pages of written reports from the 1 October shooting.
Well, Campos has been avoiding the news media, only really appearing on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Now, Contact 13 investigative reporter Joe Bartels has his account of how it went down.
Security guard Jesus Campos was hailed as a hero in the days following the shooting, investigators believing he interrupted Paddock as he carried out his plan. Campos recalled being dispatched to a hot SOS system indicating a door was propped open. As he approached, he told investigators the stairwell door for the 32nd floor was secured with a metal brace, which was out of the ordinary, he remarked. Once Campos made it to the 32nd floor via the elevator, he said he heard a very loud drill coming from 32-135, the shooter's room. As he went to investigate, gunfire came at him down the hallways. Campos was pinned in front of rooms 32-121 and 123, and he was shot in the leg and bleeding. Police asked Campos, "Did you look down the hallway to see where the gunfire was coming from?" Campos answers, "At that point, since I was shot, I was too afraid to pop my head out." Police pressed for a time frame, but Campos was unable to give firm details as the bullets whizzed toward him. Moments later, Campos saw his break to get out. Police ask, "When you believe his attention is focused outside is when you make a break for it?" "Correct," Campos replies. When he reflects on interrupting Paddock and believing he was going to die, Campos says, "I was just fortunate enough to encounter the situation." Joe Bartels, 13 Action News.